Have you ever met someone who refuses to post on social media? In a world where everyone broadcasts their breakfast, their breakups, and their breakthroughs, these individuals choose invisibility. Not because they're hiding, but because they've figured out something that most people haven't. Most assume these people are just shy or paranoid, but research on social behavior tells a different story. People who rarely post often score higher on emotional independence and introspection. They're not afraid of being seen. They're skeptical of what being seen has become. Social media promised connection. What it delivered was performance anxiety dressed up as community. Think about what happens when you decide to share something meaningful. You don't just post it, you craft it. You consider angles, write captions, anticipate reactions. By the time you hit share, the experience has already been filtered through the lens of how others might perceive it. The moment stops being yours. It becomes content. Those who hate posting have recognized this transaction. They've realized that every time they share something personal, they're trading ownership for validation. Psychologists call this psychological ownership, the deep feeling that something belongs entirely to you. When you make it public, that sense of possession dilutes. Your joy becomes everyone's commentary. Your pain becomes everyone's entertainment. Here's what makes this fascinating. The decision to stop posting often comes after someone has already been active online. They didn't start out resistant. They participated, shared, engaged. Then something shifted. Maybe they noticed how exhausting it felt to constantly curate their life. Maybe they realized they were experiencing moments through a screen instead of through their senses. Or maybe they just got tired of performing. Because that's what it is, performance. Every caption is a script. Every photo is a stage. And the applause comes in the form of hearts and comments that trigger dopamine releases in your brain, the same chemical involved in addiction. Over time, you start craving that validation. You begin measuring experiences by their shareability rather than their actual impact on your life. People who resist posting have broken that cycle. They've developed what psychologists call a strong internal locus of control, meaning their sense of worth comes from within rather than from external approval. They don't need strangers to confirm their happiness. They just need to feel it. But it's not always peaceful. There's a specific kind of anxiety that comes with social media, something researchers have named self-presentational pressure. It's the constant awareness that you're being watched and judged even when you're not actively posting. For some people, that pressure becomes unbearable. They retreat not because they don't want connection, but because the cost of digital visibility feels too steep. And here's the paradox. The platforms designed to bring us closer often leave us feeling more isolated. When you step away from posting, you start noticing who actually reaches out without needing an update to prompt them. You discover which relationships were built on genuine interest versus which ones were just social media transactions. The people who don't post tend to build their lives around unbroadcasted moments. They have conversations that don't get screenshotted. They experience joy that doesn't need witnesses. They understand that not everything meaningful requires documentation. Studies show that people who take extended breaks from social media report measurable increases in emotional stability and life satisfaction. When your identity isn't constantly being reflected back to you through likes and comments, it becomes more solid, more real. You stop editing your life into something digestible for an audience. You start living it in all its messy, unfiltered complexity. This doesn't mean they hate technology or other people. It means they've chosen authenticity over performance. They've decided that some parts of life deserve to remain untouched by algorithms and opinions. Because once something becomes public, it stops being purely yours. It belongs to interpretation, to judgment, to the endless scroll. There's something almost spiritual about this choice in our current age. While everyone else is shouting for attention, these individuals are whispering to themselves, rediscovering their own thoughts beneath the noise. They're not invisible. They're just refusing to reduce their existence to highlights and captions. What they understand is simple but profound. Privacy isn't loneliness. Silence isn't emptiness. And being unseen doesn't mean being insignificant. Sometimes the truest way to exist is quietly, fully, without needing the world to witness every moment. That's not withdrawal. That's presence. Drop a comment and share your story. And if this resonated with you, hit like and subscribe because we dive deep into psychology that actually explains how your mind works. See you next time.